So my favorite week of the whole year is probably Holy Week. Just to be honest, I love how prayerful Holy Week is when you fully dive into it. And today I want to talk about the book, The 7 Last Words of Christ. Just a quick review and recommendation for a book to read this week to really dive in to the Passion of the Christ and really understand it. I'm one of those people, I don't like the Passion of the Christ. I talked about it on my film channel about how I think it's a great movie, but it's not for me. But this book, it's great. This book is for me. This book, I plan to down the line when I'm probably won't do it until I'm in my 40s or my 50s or something like that. Later down the line when I'm more of an established writer, I'm going to put out a in-depth book just breaking down the Passion, just understanding how, where the history of crucifixions, all this different stuff. But for right now, there are books like this that I really strongly recommend you will read. The 7 Last Words of Christ by Saint Bonaventure. It's by a saint. It is a wonderful, short little book. You can read it in probably 2 hours on Good Friday. I really strongly recommend Good Friday. If you find the time, just, there's an audiobook on Spotify. That's how I've read it. I did it last year. But just sit there, listen, or if you've had the book in hand, just read it. It's very short. Again, at most 2 hours to read the whole thing. And it's the most beautiful. It just breaks down the 7 last words of Christ. For those who don't know what the 7 last words of Christ are, they are, the 7 words during the Passion readings in the Gospels. There are 7 words that Christ says that stands out. He might have said some other things that are just like, ouch, stuff like that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, those words of forgive them, Father, for they don't know what they do. Today you will be with me in paradise. Father, into your hands I command my spirit. Those words, those 7 last words that just strikes at us. Just like, oh, they're beautiful. I love that book. I love this book. St. Bonaventure really breaks down each word in such a beautiful way, helping you go deeper into the day, into Christ's Passion. And it's just like, as we prepare for Easter, let's not forget that where Easter happened after Good Friday, we need to be able to dwell on Good Friday, be able to enter into, okay, Christ died on the cross for us. Let's not just be like, oh, let's just rejoice. Let's not care about Lent. Let's not care about the suffering, and let's just focus on the joy. Guess what? The joy happened after the suffering, but the suffering did come first. And Christ died on the cross for us. He did not just rise from the dead for us. He died on the cross for us, and let's talk about that. And this book is really great at saying, okay, so let's break down each of these words. Let's break down what he said. Because if you have to give one thing to Jesus, he is the king. Well, he is the king. That too. But he's the king of knowing exactly the right words to say. And every word he says has deeper and deeper meanings the more you think about it. And each time you read this book, you're going to have a deeper understanding. If you don't have the time to read the book, even just look up the 7 last words of Christ and dwell on those. Just read them through. Read the Gospels. Read the Passion readings in the different Gospels. Really dive into it and understand why he said these stuff. Why is the word "I" first one of the few words that Jesus says? There's deep reasons for that. Why is it he chose these certain words to talk about? I encourage for my fellow Christians out there to just this Good Friday, take the time, pray, fast, and then read this. If there's anything you can do, read this. Some people say, for a lot of people, it's just watching the Passion of Christ. And I feel like while that's great, there is something that you don't get from just watching a movie like that. You don't fully dive into these words, what Jesus actually said, what Jesus actually suffered in Passion of the Christ. It's a Hollywood movie. I really suggest, don't say, I'm so holy because I watched the Passion of the Christ. Read something like this. I'm not saying that, reading this is going to make you more holy. It can, but it's more of, don't do it to look holy. Do it because it really helps. It helps me. I hope it will help you. It's just a great way to enter into that day and be able to be like, okay, today is Good Friday. Let's allow ourselves to enter in Christ's Passion, pick up our crosses and follow him. We are on the battlefield. That's the best way I always like to think of this world, is we are on the battlefield, and you get the chance to pick up your cross and join Jesus, especially on that day. He's suffering, you're suffering. It's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome. As you can't tell, I'm not making it as loud as someone like Father Mike Smith does it in his Bible in the Year and Catechism in the Year and all those good stuff. But I'm super, super hyped about this. Again, going to write a book one day about the Passion because I have a deep devotion to the Passion of the Christ. I really, really encourage people to enter in and really understand this, because I feel like there's so much of the time that us Christians like to just dwell too much on just the resurrection, and let's forget that Passion. Let's forget about this. So let's really end that. Let's enter in and let's dive into the Passion and read. Even if you don't read this book, pick up some book about the Passion of the Christ and read that. But I really strongly recommend St. Bonaventure. This book is by a saint. Pick up this book, hear what a saint has to say about the 7 last words of Christ, because it's going to shape you just like it shaped me. Thank you guys for watching, and hope you have a good Easter. Peter Wary, signing off.